Good morning, children. This is lecture 1 of chapter Machines. This chapter Machine is divided into two parts. The first part consists of the different types of machines and the different technical terms related to a machine and a very basic concept of levers. This is the recapitulation of the topic, whatever you have done. Let us start with what is a machine. A machine is a device by which a job may be carried out efficiently. Shown below is a list of some of the machines that we are using in daily life. This is an example of lever. This is wheel and axle. This is screw, inclined plane, pulley, wedge. All these things we are using as machine. This is making our work easier, and that is why we are calling them as machine. So a machine is a device by which a job may be carried out efficiently. Functions and uses of simple machine. Machine performs in 4 generic ways. What are the uses of a simple machine? Why we are using machine? First, for lifting heavy load using less force. And this type of machine is known as force multiplier. Applying less force, we are getting more work. Second is change the point of application of effort to a convenient point. We want to change the point of application of effort to a convenient point. For that also machine is used. Change the direction of effort to a convenient point. For that also machine is used. To change the direction of effort. And to obtain a gain in speed. Greater movement of load using a smaller movement of effort. It is known as gain in speed. I'll discuss all these things in the following slides. These are some examples of force multiplier. That means the machine which is used for getting greater load by using smaller effort. Wheelbarrow, car jack, shovel and spade, and crowbar, all these are the machines which are using as force multiplier. That means you are giving less effort and you are getting more work. Next is change effort application point as per convenience. That is the second use of machine, as I told you in the last slides. The rear wheel of a cycle is rotated. The rear wheel of a cycle is rotated by applying effort on the pedal attached to the rear wheel. Just see the image with the help of a chain. Thus, the point of application of effort is changed from pedal to rear wheel. Am I clear? So this is an example when the effort you are applying in one point and it is acting in another point. The third one, changing direction of effort to a convenient point. This is very important, very useful example. You all have seen a bucket full of water is to be lifted from a well. Normally, the effort has to be directed upward. But this is very inconvenient. So by using a single fixed pulley, this is a pulley, this is a pulley. By using a single fixed pulley, it is possible to lift the bucket full of water from well even by applying the effort downward. So we are applying the effort in the downward direction and the bucket is coming up, and which is more convenient as compared to applying it upwards. So this is, we are changing the direction of effort to a convenient point. And the last use is to obtain gain in speed. This is a scissor with which we are cutting the cloth. Now this is the handle of the scissor. Here we are applying the force. Now the blades moves longer in clothes while handle moves a little. That means we are applying force and more work has been done. So it is gain in speed. Similarly, blade of knife moves longer by small displacement of its handle. So these are acting as gain in speed. Now technical terms related to machine. Load. What is load? The resistive or opposing force to be overcome by the machine is called load. The resistive or opposing force that to be overcome by the machine. With the machine, we are just doing the work. That means this effort is given by the machine. And the load with which we are acting, in which the machine is acting, in which the effort is applying. So the resistive, that means load is also giving a resistive force. So in a way you can call load is also a force. It is the resistive force or opposing force to be overcome by the machine is called load. Effort, the force applied on the machine to overcome the load. The force applied on the machine to overcome the load is called effort. The load is denoted by L and effort is denoted by E. Mechanical advantage. The ratio of the load to effort is called mechanical advantage. Mechanical advantage is written by MA. It is load by effort. And load is also a force, effort is also a force. So these two forces, there is a ratio between load and effort. So mechanical advantage is having no unit, because load and effort, they cancel each other and mechanical advantage has no unit. Now if load is greater than effort, the first case, mechanical advantage is greater than 1. How? You all know that mechanical advantage is equals to load by effort. Now load is greater than effort. That means the numerator is greater than the denominator. So naturally mechanical advantage is greater than 1. If this is the case, then this type of machine is acting as force multiplier. Gain in force. Force multiplier. Give a very small effort, apply a very small effort, and that effort will be multiplied. So it is known as force multiplier. You can do more work with the application of less effort. Next is if load is smaller than effort. That means effort is greater than load. If this is the case, in that case, you see that now the denominator, see from here, the denominator is greater than the numerator. That means mechanical advantage is equals to load by effort. So numerator is less than the denominator. That means mechanical advantage is less than 1. If it is the case, then this type of machine is used as gain in speed. Mechanical advantage is less than 1. Mechanical advantage is less than 1. But then also this is used as a machine because in that case we are getting gain in speed. The movement of the load, movement in the load will be more than the movement of the effort part. Movement of the load part will be more than the movement of the effort part. So that is used as a gain in speed. Okay. Number 3, when load is equal to effort. These are the 3 cases. This is the ideal case. When mechanical advantage, load by effort, and load is equals to effort, so mechanical advantage is equals to 1. No gain in force or speed. Okay, if this is the case, then this is used to change the direction of effort. Okay, now a machine cannot be used both as force and speed multiplier together. Am I clear to you? This is a very important slide. Next is coming velocity ratio. The ratio of the velocity of effort to the velocity of load is called the velocity ratio of machine. Just see here, the velocity ratio is denoted by VR, velocity of effort by velocity of load. Velocity means the distance traveled in a particular time, d by t. So if dl and de, just see here, if dl and de are the distance moved in the same time t by the load and effort respectively. That means distance by the load, if it is dl in a particular time t, and distance moved by the effort is de in a particular time t, then the velocity of load, we can write it as VL, is equals to, with this, from this formula, d by t. So d, velocity of load VL, is equals to dl by t. I can write it. It is written here dl by t. Similarly, velocity of effort can be written as de by t. Now the velocity ratio is equals to velocity of effort by velocity of load. Now see, mechanical advantage is equals to load by effort. But velocity ratio is equals to velocity of effort by velocity of load. Don't get confused. So in place of VE, I can write DE by T, and in place of VL, I can write DL by T. TT gets cancelled. So velocity ratio, I am getting DE by DL. So what I am getting velocity ratio is equals to DE by DL. So I can, in another way, I can say the velocity ratio is the distance traveled by the effort by distance traveled by the load in a particular time. Okay, now see here. Thus, velocity ratio is also defined as the ratio of the displacement of effort to the displacement of load. Okay, as I told you, the distance, it is distance or displacement, whatever it may be. So, velocity ratio is also defined as the ratio of displacement of effort to the displacement of load. Okay, velocity ratio also has no unit because both are the displacement. From here, one new term, that is efficiency. How much the machine is efficient. Efficiency of a machine is the ratio of the work done on the load by the machine to the work done on the machine by the effort. Again, I am repeating, efficiency of a machine is the ratio of the work done on the load, work done on the load. Who will do the work? Machine. So, work done on the load by the machine to the work done on the machine by the effort. Am I clear? So, on other hand, efficiency is the ratio of the work output to work input. Efficiency is denoted by eta, that is equals to work output by work input. Work output by work input. Output by work input. Okay. See here. Efficiency is equals to work output by work input. But efficiency is usually expressed as a percentage. So, we can write efficiency eta is equals to work output by work input into 100. It has also no limit because it is a ratio of two similar quantities. Am I clear? Efficiency, again I am repeating, efficiency is the work output, how much work I am getting by work input, how much work I am doing by the machine. Machine is doing the work. How much work has been done by the machine? Okay. So work output, how much work I am getting from the machine. That is efficiency of the machine. What is work input? The work done on the machine by the effort. That means machine is doing the work. With the effort, some work has been done on the machine. Then the machine will do the work on the load. So here, input is given by the machine on the load. And when the input is given by the machine on the load, then load will do some work. Some work has been done on the load. Okay, that is output that I can see. So input is the work done on the machine by the effort, and work output is the work done by the machine on the load. That is coming out as output. How much output I am getting. If a machine is working, then how much output we are getting. That is the work output. I think I am clear to you. Relationship between mechanical advantage, velocity ratio and efficiency. This is very important. Sometime this is coming in the exam also. Derive the relationship. Suppose a machine overcome a load L by the application of an effort E in time T. Now let the displacement of the effort be dE and displacement of the load be dL. Then work input is equals to effort into displacement of effort. Why? Because work is equals to force into displacement, that you know. You have read it. Work is equals to force into displacement. Now, so work input is equals to force. Effort is a force. So effort into displacement of effort. And input means it is the effort given on the machine. Okay. Please remember that input means it is coming from the machine. And on the machine, effort is given. So, effort into displacement of the effort. That is input. That is E into DL. DE. E into DE. Similarly, work output means output is coming from load. And I told you that load is also one kind of force because it is the resistive force. So, load into displacement of load, that is L into DL. Okay. Now, so by definition, what we know that efficiency eta is equals to work output by input. So, in place of output, I can write L into DL by E into DE. This one we can write. Now, just divide it, separate it. L by E, write down from here L by E, and from here it is DL by DE. Now L by E, I can write it as 1 by DE by DL. DL by DE can be written as 1 by DE by DL. So DL will go in the numerator in this case. So L by FE is nothing but mechanical advantage, and DE by DL, that means this one, DE by DL, is nothing but velocity ratio. Okay, so what I am getting, efficiency eta, I can write it in this way, efficiency eta is equals to L by E is mechanical advantage, okay, by DE by DL is nothing but velocity ratio. So from there I can get this mechanical advantage is equals to velocity ratio into eta. So mechanical advantage of a machine is equals to the product of its efficiency and velocity ratio. You have to practice this, children. You have to write it in your notebook and you have to practice it. You have to derive this formula. Principles of a machine. The point at which energy is applied on the machine is called effort point, and the point at which energy is obtained for overcoming the load is called load point. Input energy, work done at the effort point. Work done at the effort point. That means effort into displacement at the effort point. Output energy, work done obtained at the load point. So load into displacement at the load point. For an ideal machine, this should be the case for an ideal machine. Output energy should be equal to input energy. How much input energy I am giving, that much output energy I should get. But in actual machine, output energy is less than input energy. How much energy we are giving, that much we are not getting actually. It is always less. Why it is less? Because Some energy loss during operation of machine components because of the friction of the machines and all these things, because the heat is produced, all these things, the output energy is always little less than the input energy. But in ideal case, it should be equal. So in practical purpose, we can say that no machine is 100% efficient, because output energy and the input energy is not always same. Now, a very brief discussion about the levers. A lever is a bar that is free to turn around a fixed point. That fixed point is known as fulcrum. In one side, load is applied, in another side, the force is given. From the fulcrum to the force, in which side the force is applied, this is known as force arm, and the load arm from the fulcrum to the load, this is known as load arm. The working principle in a lever, as I told you, load to fulcrum is known as load arm, effort to fulcrum is known as effort arm. A lever works on the principle of moments. You have learned moments in standard 9. Clockwise moment of the load about the fulcrum is equals to load into load arm. And anti-clockwise moment of the effort about the fulcrum is effort into effort arm. And in equilibrium, load into load arm is equals to effort into effort arm. Load into load arm, load I have taken as L, and load arm here we have taken as FB. You can see the figure FB. And effort arm, E is the effort and effort arm is FA. You can see the figure, effort arm is FA. Or from here, load by effort is equals to FA by FB. Load by effort is nothing but mechanical advantage. So for a lever, mechanical advantage is equals to effort arm by load arm. This you have to remember. The mechanical advantage of a lever is equal to the ratio of its effort arm and load arm. Mechanical advantage of a lever may be changed by changing the length of its effort and load arm. If you increase or decrease the effort arm or load arm, the mechanical advantage will increase or decrease. Types of lever. 3 types of lever are possible. Class 1 lever, in which the fulcrum is in between the load and the effort. See children, fulcrum is not in the middle. This is a wrong statement. Fulcrum is not in the middle. Please don't write it is in the middle. Middle means it is just at the center. So always you will write fulcrum is in between the effort and load. If this type of arrangement is there, then that lever is known as class 1 lever. Okay? Don't say first class lever. First class, second class, third class. No. It is class 1, class 2, class 3 or type 1, type 2, type 3. Okay? Now, it can be, the fulcrum can be at the center. It's not a problem. But it is not always in the middle. It is in between the load and effort. Some example of class 1 lever. Say this is seesaw. The fulcrum is in between. One side the effort. This man is giving effort and this is the load. Crowbar. This is also one example of class 1 lever, and scissor. This is also an example of class 1 lever. Okay. This is the fulcrum. This point is the fulcrum. This is the load. This point is load and this is your effort point. This is fulcrum. Okay, this is your fulcrum. Now here also this is your fulcrum. This is your load, this side, and this side will be your effort. Class 2 lever. Load in between the fulcrum and the effort. Now load is coming in between the fulcrum and the effort. Fulcrum is in one side and effort is in another side. This is known as class 2 lever. Some example of class 2 lever: boat, oars, bottle opener, wheelbarrow. These all are example of class 2 lever. Okay. Class 3 lever, when effort is in between the fulcrum and the load. Effort is in between the load and the fulcrum. Okay. Some examples of class 3 lever: knife, you can see it is shown here. Then sugar tongue. Then spade lifting a load. Foot treadle, etc. Now this is the end of lecture 1. Please go through the video carefully and read the book also. In the next lecture, we shall talk about pulley.